We got to make sure we mention Khalil. He always has a fucking meltdown if we don't say, "Hey, Khalil introduced us." It's a whole day, Khalil. We're gonna put it out there just so we don't. I don't know
the Khalil podcast.
I don't want to get a text later being like, "Hey, man, it puts him into a tailspin."
Did you guys make sure you mentioned me?
Khalil, we mentioned you. We mentioned your sauna hat. We mentioned the Sun Life that you gave me. Thank you so much. There's like cacao nibs and coconut and all of the kinds of things on this.
We get that out of the way.
Yeah.
Khalil, your dick hard yet or what? Anyways.
You have to talk pretty close to the mic, Adam.
Oh yeah, I was about to ask, do I need to eat this thing while I talk?
Basically.
As long as you can hear yourself and you can hear us. Yeah,
yes.
Exactly. Yeah, blow the mic.
Blow the mic.
Perfect.
Don't forget to cup the balls.
Taylor, pull that clip. That's what we're gonna do. That'll be the opening of your video clip. Anyways, man, thank you for coming in.
Thank you so much.
So
I now know where this podcast is going.
Yes, it's going to go all over the place. Get ready.
I love it.
Okay, so you grew up, you said, with a lot of masculine energy.
Yeah, for sure.
How'd you grow up?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I mean, real blue collar. My dad was first generation born American, come from a German family. And my dad definitely, was raised with an iron fist and then, brought that upon me. And I don't think it always started like that with him. My brother was such a problem that
older brother, younger brother?
My older brother,
okay.
13 years older than me. Found out later on in life, like after enough, deep conversations with my mom, like trying to just get her to crack at some reality of like what I went through, for her to like tell me some stuff. And, he would come to bed one night after something my brother did to, my mom and dad before I was, conscious of what was going on. And he was like, I will never let another fucking kid do that to me.
What do you mean?
My brother had a massive drug problem. I'm talking like doing coke and stealing cars, breaking into the high school to.
From what age?
Oh man, probably like 13. Got in trouble with the police for the first time at 14, got his front tooth knocked out by a police officer, getting his head hit against the back of a trunk of a car he stole. It was always something. I mean, I was probably 8 years old, he's 13 years older than me, and sitting there drinking some milk. He's drinking some milk. We're watching a TV show, eating burgers. He's sitting on a chair like right to my right of me, and he just starts having a seizure and falls on top of me, and he's just having like a seizure on top of me. And I didn't touch milk for like 6 months because I thought it was fucking milk or something. Like I had no idea what was going on. I was like traumatized at the idea of, my brother almost dying and falling on top of me, being carted away by an ambulance. And this wasn't, the only time. So
your childhood was incredibly chaotic.
Super chaotic. I mean, it was, and there's so much avoidance, on my mom's part. It took a lot of work for me to understand it so I wouldn't be mad about it. Right. And so much avoidance as, that was shown, from my mom and my dad, where that's all this is going on with my brother. And at the same time, we're having like foreign exchange students, brought into the house.
What was the reasoning? Just parents wanted to.
Oh, culture. Yeah. I mean, things aren't that bad. I mean, Andy's just on drugs and, my mom still to this day, up until 2 years ago, it took like screaming matches of me, like getting her to realize that this pain is not make believe. Like dad beat the shit out of me, like right in front of you. And you didn't notice it because you were too busy being on the phone talking to one of your patients because you couldn't disconnect from, these people you help at a hospital enough to put your attention into the family, which is just pure avoidance.
So the way that your dad dealt with you after dealing with your brother was your brother traumatized them so much with his addiction that he said, okay, we're going to raise this one differently and not let you.
Yeah. I mean, my mom didn't have any part of it. She it was always it was just my dad that was the hard ass. I mean, my mom was like the sweet woman who came home and like rubbed my back for 30 minutes and I'd stay up late and watch, Renegade, till 11 o'clock on a school night, just because I could like see her because she worked late nights, as a nurse. And she always put more into it, and as the baby of the family, I was just looking for that like attention because everybody was so much older than me too.
How many siblings? You have one sibling, two? How many siblings do you have?
I mean, I had, you know, I had my brother who passed away, Andy. He died when I was 22. I have my sister, you know, she's 10 years older than me. So she's going to be turning 50. And then I have my sister, Gretchen, who's 2 years older than me. And then I have a little brother who's adopted, which is, you know, all part of the story. You know, mom was a nurse, hospital, little boy, was paralyzed, no family to love him, you know, and it was like, hey, like this kid's got nobody. And, you know, we adopted him and, you know, 25 years later, you know, he still lives with us, but that same thing, like that same energy that went into that could have been put into, you know, doing other things for our direct family at that time.
Do you think that to me, that generation seems like a lot of the way they dealt with things was sweeping it under the rug?
Oh, 100%. I mean, that's how we got here socially and culturally in so many ways that we are today that we could like speak of as just the sweeping under the rug. I mean, the economics behind America, sweep it under the rug, just keep doing it, push it aside for the next generation where it's like, no, fuck that. Like I've never touched my kid. I don't yell at my kid. You know, it's just like everything comes from a place of I'm going to make them stronger with what it is that I had to go through to make sure that they never have to go through that.
There's a lot. I feel like we could spend a lot of time here in our childhood. Now, you know, a lot of people come on this show and we start with going kind of getting to know who the person is.
Yeah.
Some people have a quicker, you know, like what's a child? Oh, it's good. Grew up, went to school, normal. We can. I feel like just talking to you here for the first 5 minutes, there's a lot to unpack.
Whew, that was only 5 minutes.
Yeah. but I think it's important because I think it plays into obviously who you are now and why you're on the show and the message and what you're building. So talk to me about your older brother a little bit, because it sounds like he had a pretty significant impact on your life. One, obviously being your older brother, but two, when he's going through addiction and you're that young, how are you engaging with him and what are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, my brother, you know, to me was the coolest. I mean, he lived in the basement. He listened to NWA, Beastie Boys. I used to like sit next to the speaker and just let it saturate my eardrums, you know, and watch him roll joints or whatever and hop in his El Camino and drive off. You know, it's what was interesting is that I got older. I didn't realize that I also gained like my entrepreneurial spirit from him, you know, because he started his own contracting business. He was a remodeler and he was super talented, you know, so talented that I saw something in him even when I was younger that I wanted to like absorb some of this talent, and I begged him to let me work for him. And I remember I still have the tool belt he like gave me. I showed up, it was like my first day of work, and we go to this hardware store and he buys me a new tool belt, a heart hammer and tape measure. And I worked for my brother every summer until I was 18. So for 6 years.
So you guys were close.
Yeah. We were really close. I was the one that saw the drug use and alcohol go from recreational to addiction. Like I saw it because I was working with him. I quit school so I could work for him full time. I stopped going to college. I quit the soccer team. I like left everything. At the time, he was building my parents' house, and he like ran his car into the lake and called me and was like, "I need your help, and don't tell mom and dad," you know. And
while using,
yeah. And I held on to that for a while, and I like realized that I like done drug runs for him, you know, and I didn't realize that's really what I was doing. I was putting money in mailbox and grabbing shit. You know, I thought it was for his work, but it was like, hey, on your way to work, grab this mailbox, you know, and it's like, cool, you know? And then all of a sudden he's doing drugs at lunchtime, and I'm like, that's the bag I picked up. You know, I'm 18 at this time, 19, 20. At 22 is when he passed away. He had 3 kids. You know, I mean, he was married. He had gone through 3 stints of rehab. Came back, and at the time I was living with my girlfriend at the time, and I got a call at like 5 a.m. from my sister, and Andy was living in my house in the room that I grew up in, and he had died, you know. So I get this call, and
he had died, and they knew he had died.
My sister found his body at 5 a.m.
Wow.
Going down to wake him up. And like the amount of guilt that hit because I was supposed to call him like 8 hours earlier and I didn't. You know, I was supposed to call him back. He like left a message at the gym that I was working at and to call him back. And I like left the gym like a little too late, just kind of lost track of time. My cell phone was dead. Anybody who knows me knows my cell phone is always fucking dead, you know, and it was just, you know, I was like, oh, I'll talk to him in the morning, you know? So on the way to go see him, I heard an ad on the radio. And this is kind of like where, you know, being ready, like has always been kind of like my thing, like be ready, stay ready, in some mentality of like what I went through as a child with my dad being a certain way. It got me into working out at a young age. At 12 years old, I spent all my money on a personal trainer and a gym membership. And then what money did you have? I had a paper route. I was making $2,000 a month. I literally trained with a personal trainer 4 or 5 days a week for 6, 7 months to learn what I learned and to like get advanced and understand. And it was to protect myself, you know, and to feel confident in my body because I was always under some version of attack. And when my brother passed away and I heard this ad on a radio, it was for a kickboxing tournament. It was a no holds barred fight. And it was show up to Harley Davidson dealership, sign up, fight 2 weeks from here. And it was called the Tough Man. Remember those tournaments you used to see on ESPN with the yellow boxing gloves and people just beating the shit out of each other? I was the champion. I won that fight weeks after my brother died. It was the first time I had ever fought in a ring.
Do you think that the reason that you were drawn to fighting and beating the shit out of or getting beaten the shit out of is because of your chaotic childhood? It was
I knew that I was good at violence, right? Like receiving it. I also knew that
you were good at receiving violence.
Meaning like you'd taken pain.
I had taken pain.
I mean, I've never heard anyone say that. That's crazy that you in your brain thought you were good at receiving violence.
Yeah. Like I wasn't afraid of violence.
Yeah.
I wasn't perceptively, it didn't scare me. The idea of getting hit or hitting someone. I'm like, I've gone through that since I was a kid. Like what?
It was familiar.
Yeah. I mean, I had a 6'2", 260-pound man hit me. Like break a watch over my fucking face. Like, what is this 185-pound boy gonna do to me? I mean, first dude I fought, he felt the wrath of 22 years of pain. It was the first person I had ever hit. I mean, I body slammed my dad one time just to show him at 18 years old, like, stop fucking with me. You know, I put him down. I knocked the wind out of him. He went unconscious for a split second because he hit me 3 times. And I just was like,
did you ever repair that relationship with your dad?
Well, yeah, we get there. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I did. I mean, as much as I could, you know, he had a hard time letting his guard down, but we did, you know.
And did you ever, so.
To be clear, I'm not a violent person. Like I fucking hate violence, right? Like I loathe it. You know, I got out of fighting because violence is what I wanted. What I wanted is to feel.
From an outside perspective, to me, it seems like your parents put a huge emphasis on your brother using drugs. So they were distracted with that. And then it sounds like they adopted someone who was paralyzed and they put a lot of their attention on that. And then you were kind of left in the middle floating around and they ended up taking a lot of their stress out on you.
Oh yeah. 100% nailed it. Bam. Yeah. I mean, totally. I mean, I was like the kid forgotten, you know. I was just young enough and out of place and I didn't have enough problems. Like my sister Gretchen, she was like dyslexic and struggled with these issues. So she had just enough attention on her because she was fucking off in school to be like, Gretchen, you need to fucking, you know, this and this, like you got to do your homework, you know, and like, but me, I'm like honor roll, you know, flying through and in the middle of the day, just crying for no reason, not knowing why.
So what would you get beat for? What were some of the offenses that would set your dad off? Because it sounds like you weren't too bad of a kid compared to.
No, man, it'd be like not cleaning my room. You know, it'd be like leaving like, I liked to model cars when I was a kid, and it'd be like not cleaning up the paint in the middle of the garage floor. You know, even though I like had newspaper, it was like all clean. It's just like I didn't cap the stuff and like put the paintbrushes away right away. You know, maybe it'd been like 20 minutes or something because I was doing something else or washing my hands, you know, whatever. And he just flipped the fuck out.
And was it because like, say with your brother, did your brother get that kind of wrath or was it he was too?
No, I mean, yeah, my brother was too old at that point, and my dad like I mean,
So the frustration got taken out on you.
oh yeah. I mean, bullies, right? Like they're not going to pick on the person of their fair size,
I also think it sounds like you were looking for your mom's attention and your mom didn't give you the attention, and then she goes and adopts someone who's paralyzed, and then I'm sure a lot of her attention went there, and you were probably like, what the hell?
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, I could count how many sports events that they showed up for me on one hand throughout my entire high school career. And I was a standout soccer player and pole vaulter. Like it was, on my birthday, I turned 18, April 28th, 2000, year I graduated. I'm running track. I have a track meet on my birthday and nobody shows up to the track meet. It was just like, what the
Did
fuck?
they feel like Adam's just got his shit together and like he's fine? Or was it just kind of the lost child because so many of the other kids needed the attention?
I don't really know. I think they were just so caught up in their own shit. I mean, like they were always just so troubled with like money, I think financially, and just not talking about it. Like my parents did not have a plan. Like, thank God I figured out what savings was later on. And I've met some successful people that, have helped me because like shit, up until a couple of years ago, I didn't have any money in savings. Like, and I was like, okay, like you can't like, Mom, you didn't have any money saved up? Like if it wasn't for X dying or whatever, like you would have been fucked. Like, oh hell no, that is not going to be me. I mean, my whole family was overweight. I've been 7% body fat and 200 pounds since I was 19 years old.
So how did you find fitness? Like what was it sounds like you found it young, 12, but what was the moment where you're like, oh my God, this is the thing for me?
The real moment of fitness is crazy. This is where it's like these like storybook moments, right? My great uncle Bill died. Basically my dad's uncle, Chicago. Go to the funeral, have this great party afterwards. And this disheveled attorney comes up to me and I'm 12 years old. It was an age. It was Danye came at 12. A lot of things happened at 12 years old. My uncle Bill left me a rusty barbell and 85 pounds in metal weights sitting in this broken milk crate. And I was 12 years old. I'm like, and the lawyer said, your uncle said you always loved WWF. And maybe this will help you become a wrestler one day. And it was like, so I took that rusty ass barbell home. I stole my sister's Reebok stair stepper. And I started working out, started liking the way I looked, started liking the way I felt. And one of the best things that ever came of Danye, who's my little brother, the one that's paralyzed, of him becoming my brother is not only the relationship that we have and like the things I've been able to help him with that I don't think many other people would have helped him with, knowing people just follow medical advice. Me, I'm always like, buck the system, and I tried things with him when he was young. They said he would never eat again, and it's like, he eats with his mouth since he was 4 years old now. It's like I'd put food in his mouth and pull it out of his mouth with my finger if he couldn't chew it, and just doing weird stuff. I was like 16 years old playing with things like that. His nurse came up to me at 12 and was like, I see you working out in your room all the time. He's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm just trying to get big. And this guy was like a bodybuilder and he was a fireman. He had a carpet cleaning business, an entrepreneur again in my life. Next day he comes and he drops off the stack of Iron Man magazines. Big like stack from like 87 to like 96 of muscle magazines. I read every single one of them cover to cover like 3-4 times at the age of 12, like in the matter of like weeks.
You just became obsessed.
Oh, obsessed is an understatement. I literally said at 12 years old that I was going to be on the cover of a fitness magazine and want to be one of the biggest names of fitness ever.
It sounds like your whole family was overweight and you went the different direction. So you became the black sheep because you were kind of mirroring them.
Oh yeah.
So maybe that's the reason that they took it out on you, because you brought up things for them that they didn't want to see in themselves.
Yeah. I mean, very much so. I mean, I can't talk about anything health related. I mean, like some of the most successful people in the world, people who own PayPal, have sought my advice.
Meaning you can't talk about it with them.
I can't talk health with them, yet some of the most successful people in the world pay me to help them and they just won't take what I give them. It's just like, it doesn't matter. It's always offensive or, whatever it is. Oh, let me help you. I'll show up. And I'm fine. I'm fine. It's like, okay, I mean, you're still overweight. I mean, 20 years later, like, it's not me talking shit. Like, I'm doing it out of love here.
Someone told me that the reason that Oprah was so successful is because she never helped anyone. She helped people help other people.
Yeah.
And maybe if there's a way for you to help them help other people, you can get it through their brain.
Do you know many Midwesterners?
I know you.
Yeah. Yeah. Midwesterners are an interesting bunch.
Careful. There's a lot of Midwesterners listening.
I'm a Midwesterner, so believe me, I get it. I will never stop trying. I will never stop trying. I actually had my sister here, and I got her to microdose mushrooms. And the same with my mom. My mom has an interest. She's had a lot of crazy surgeries and has a lot of pain. She has like no joint in her thumb and shit, right? And so her doctor of like 30 years retired. And she got this new doctor, and like in the first doctor meeting, they like marked her as like pill seeking. So now my mom can't get pain medication. So I was like, well, let's try some alternative methods, Mom. So when she was here, I gave her some psilocybin and a nice little microdose, and she was like, I can move my shoulder, and it's like, yes, you can. So I mean, the work is never done. I love what I do, right? Like I really do, like. My heart is on my sleeve. I mean, I have a tattoo of a heart on my sleeve. The logo of my company is a heart. Like everything I do comes from the heart. Because really that's like always been my biggest driver. It hasn't been education or anything. It's just been passion.
So after your brother passed away, what changed in your life? Like what kind of clarity did you have with your business and your family?
I mean, before when my brother passed, I mean, I was 22. I was a young buck.
Before you met your wife.
Oh yeah, way before. Yeah. So my brother passed. I did that fight, and somebody came up to me, Horace Kraft, who is like my brother it's like my stepdad in a weird way. The sheriff out of Milwaukee, who kind of was like wrongfully accused, black guy, shot a white guy in the city like years back, got like taken off the force, was defending himself in this gunfight, and kind of like switched his life to like helping disadvantaged youth through it, and came up to me and was like, you have real talent, you should train, and brought me to this place called Ace Boxing, which is this like dingy hole in the wall, literally blood soaked mats in the middle of a Milwaukee park that is a historic place that can't be taken down because it's owned by Native Americans. And we would show up there and box, and he would just beat the shit out of me. And he would have like 3 other dudes that were all like black belts and crazy martial arts, like Wing Chun and all these like martial arts that were just kicking my ass for like 3-4 months. At the same time, I'm training with Tom Mueller, who is, a very high level jiu-jitsu practitioner, just won, a world title.
So just trying to get a well-rounded understanding of martial arts.
I dove into fighting. I mean, I went all the way in, and I was balancing fighting, training. I had gotten a job as an electrician, and I was just kind of doing the 9-to-5 grind, looking for my thing because I knew Milwaukee wasn't my thing.
And is this the time when, like, where is UFC at this time? Is this,
so yeah, I mean,
are people making money yet? Or?
Yeah, I mean, people are being paid dog shit, but it's
arguably that a lot of them are still being paid.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother topic.
I mean, I'm talking real bad. Like I was privy to a lot of these conversations, when I was coming up. So, I mean, I fought that fight. I fought it the next year. I then did jujitsu for about 3 months, and my team talked me into doing NAGA, which is the North American Grappling Association. It's 9 states invited, and I ended up winning NAGA after like only practicing jujitsu for about 4 months. And
so you just came in and were just rage is unleashed on everyone. You're just taking people out.
Well, it wasn't just rage. I mean, I think back then nobody like, unless you were like the highest level collegiate wrestler, you had never touched somebody like me. Like, not because of my skill level, but because I had a 500-pound deadlift and could do 35 unbroken pull-ups and run a 40 and a 4.45. Like
and also let's not discount that at this point. If you've, it's interesting. You meet people that have taken beatings in their life, and it's a whole different thing because a lot of people, they think they're going to act tough in a tough situation, and then it happens and they get, punched once and like, oh my God, it's like, if you're somebody that can take more pain than the majority of people, that's a huge advantage.
One, give it. I was ruthless. Like I would stick my chin in somebody's eye socket and just grind away until I could get the position that I wanted. It's like, hey, you're not going to move your arm. I'll make you move your arm.
You seem very gentle though when I meet you.
Yeah, well, there's a difference between me who wants to win and like stop somebody from hurting me and winning, and like me who is just like right here. Pat, this guy next to me, he refers to me like my puppy, who's like calm and sweet and cute, yet barks at everybody, so I have a side, but it's like, nobody's ever going to see it. Like you'd have to put me back in a ring if that's ever going to happen, or somebody needs to threaten my family. Like I do tactical shooting. Like I do things like that. I'm ready for it, but I think the people who really know it don't have to show it.
No,
Oh, Michael always says that.
We have a friend of ours, and he's been on the show. Joe Schilling.
Yeah,
so
of course.
Like I always tell, like that's not a guy you ever want to find yourself in a fight with, right? It's just like not. It's just there's certain people, but he is one of the nicest, softest people. If you're just with him, like he doesn't need to prove it to anyone. If you put him in a ring, it's a whole different thing.
Well, there's this law that Robert Greene writes about that it says that when someone shows hyper masculinity or hyper femininity, there's something that is an insecurity there that they're not showing. So like if they're so masculine and they have to show everything that's so masculine all the time, like there's something
like
there.
If there's guys that come in aggro all the time, there's probably some other issue.
Yeah.
That's effectively, I ended up fighting for 7 more years, right? Hiding from pain, running. I found myself multiple states, dating different women, like all these kinds of things, just kind of cruising around, being this free spirit. And I had gotten.
What do you mean dating all kinds of women? You mean like hookers? Are we talking if you have a different woman in every
why do you
state?
always think
No.
Listen, I have never been with a hooker.
Okay. I mean, like, do we have girlfriends in different states? Like, what do you mean?
No, I wasn't a player.
My wife's mind will go to like the darkest places when it
How
comes
is
to this
that
stuff.
dark?
Because
it sounds
I get
like
it.
fun.
Why do you have to go straight to hookers?
It does sound fun.
What do you mean?
It wasn't that exciting. No, I think looking for acceptance from women, because of like the lack of validation and acceptance from my own mom and my sisters. It's always been like a thing. It's actually a thing that me and my wife, we kind of like talk about and are working on, is that like, if she has friendships with women, that, and they're like hanging out, I'll feel like sitting at home on the outside. And it's like, it's not because I'm needy or whatever it is. It's because I have been, that's like where I've been for so long, and it hurts to not feel included. Like, hey, I want to go get a fucking facial too. Like it's, like you're my best friend. Like don't exclude me because you're doing a girl thing. Like I don't like that thought process.
What if she's getting her vagina steamed? Do you want to come get your balls steamed?
I'll steam my asshole any day.
Okay, so you're in for anything.
Yeah. Well, I'm just,
if she's getting a pedicure, do you want to get a pedicure?
Totally. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and it's not that she can't have her alone time. It's just it's basically the idea of like what I'm talking about, like with other women. Like, so I would be dating a girl and then I'd jump to the next state, but like I'd have like something already there. It's because like I needed like a woman in my life at the time for that validation and self-acceptance. Even though I had like all these other great things going for myself, I had not done this like closure work that I needed, through the relationship that I had through my mom, where she's like seeing me get smacked and not saying anything about it, and you're like,
when did you have the light bulb moment that you knew that like maybe you needed to seek therapy or you needed to do something about this?
Yeah. Honestly, it was, when my shoulder separated. So I had just signed a strike force contract. I had been fighting for 5.5 years. I had done like 13 fights and lost 2 and won the other 11. I won a tournament that was for strike force, and less than like 18 hours later, I blew my shoulder out. Never fought again.
How did you blow it out?
I suplexed Brett Rogers, who's like a 295 pound, 6'6" fighter. And his arm got like behind my shoulder blade, and I was doing a suplex, and my whole shoulder went up and the rest of my body went down because his weight was on me. And it was very weird.
It was like accidental.
Freak accident. Yeah. I should have rested longer before I trained again. I had just fought 18 hours previously, but because I beat the dude in like 40 seconds, I was like, I'm fucking fine. But I was super dehydrated, most likely, which is why it happened.
My ex-boyfriend did something similar, and isn't there no way to put a cast on it? You have to just like put it in a sling and let it heal.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and that's basically what happened. And unfortunately, when something like that happens, you hope it rips.
Oh, you hope it rips?
Yeah. Because then they can reattach it and keep it short. Mine's stretched. So now I have like what's called like a slap in my shoulder a little bit because there's just like slack in it.
That makes sense.
So I wished it would have ripped because then I could have been like,
they would
reattach it. Insurance would cover it. No fucking problem versus like overstretching and micro tears and just massive trauma,
Was that the most painful thing that's ever happened to you or no?
It wasn't even painful.
Oh, okay.
No, it wasn't. It was.
Oh my God.
It happened so fast. I was just like, I like look at my shoulder. It's like sitting out here.
Oh, fuck.
And I like was kind of like on my like side, and I like rolled over and I went, and it went, and I was just like, oh, what the fuck? And my coach comes over. He goes like, hold on. And he pushes on it just a little harder and it gets one hard pop. That he was not supposed to do. So I ended up having like some like tendon issues because he reset it without having like an MRI. You're supposed to have that shit checked before you reset stuff to make sure tendons are in the right spots, yada, yada, yada. So every time I do this, there's like a nice little flapping, in my shoulder. It's just like a little, you can feel like the tendon flick over my acromion process, is what I speculate is happening. So, but yeah, I mean, that's what happened. I had this massive conscious awakening. Emotional trauma is held in your fascia, right? So your body holds on to all this. And this is something that I was talking about almost 13 years ago now, like, right? And I kind of stumbled upon like Moshe Feldenkrais and some other really incredible authors that kind of like peaked at that idea. But now with even more modern science, we even understand that on a deeper level, how fascia is 99 point.
They're still just scratching the surface on all that stuff. For
sure. And when that amount of trauma happened, I remembered in my shoulder, it took me a while to like put it together years later, is that shoulder was also the shoulder that I hurt right around the time my brother died. I was working for a landscape company and I was pounding these tree posts in, and I ended up partially tearing my rotator cuff on that left side. And all the emotion just kept building into that left side, into that shoulder. And when I got hurt, it just went, pah. It was like the motion was trying to get out, which is ultimately what I believe happened. I don't believe it had anything to do with impact. I don't believe it had anything to do with a suplex. I think I probably could have opened a door that day the wrong way and my shoulder would have exploded. Like it would have found a way to come out. That's like how powerful it felt. And at that moment, I knew fighting was over. Everybody's like, oh, you can heal, you'll be better. I'm like, no, like I have no inclination to fight. Within a matter of seconds.
You were just done.
I knew I was done. Every part of me like had left. I like woke up and I literally thought to myself, have I just been watching what I've been doing for the last 5 years? Like I was just viewing myself doing these things. Like I never felt pain.
That's called disassociation.
Oh.
And it's from trauma.
Yeah, 100%.
You had dissociated from yourself. And
well, it sounds like your brother passed and you went right into this world of violence, that
totally.
And you don't seem like you're actually, like you said, a violent person. You're just in it.
Yeah. Totally. No, I at 100%. I disassociated for so long that I basically consciously woke up when my shoulder exploded and I was like, where the fuck am I?
That is wild. This is a real thing, by the way, that people should look into with trauma, disassociation. It's when you almost delusion yourself and you disassociate from everything.
Oh yeah. I struggled with imposter syndrome. Because every once in a while I'd consciously wake up in like this world that I created, where I was Adam, the professional fighter, and nobody could hurt me, right? From like the person that lost so much in his life. And all of a sudden when my shoulder exploded, I'm like, holy fuck, like what happened? Like, why did I do this to myself? Like even some of my tattoos, I was like, that's interesting. Like, why did I get that? I mean, it was like silly. It was
It's
like,
a moment of clarity.
oh yeah. It wasn't like regret either. It was kind of like, who did this to me?
That is wild. That's actual true dissociation. Has
Yeah.
anyone, as a therapist or anything, ever told you that? That's like what you're describing.
No, books,
But
books, podcasts, mushrooms. Like I've done enough psychedelics to do the work and like understand that what I went through. I had a therapist when I was really young because I had ADHD, and they tried like, drugging me all the damn time to keep me calm and shit. And my therapist was so cool. Shout out to Dr. Crisco if he's still alive. I'm not sure.
He's a big listener.
Yeah. Hey, he was awesome, man. He would do martial arts with me for like an hour and talk about stuff, and that was it. We'd just move around, and he put on like sparring gear and let me hit him, and like we'd like smack each other with foam noodles and stuff, and just talk. So I understood how to deal with my issues, as it required movement and vocalization, and I just talk about it. People like you, podcasts. I mean, effectively, I was lucky enough to make something of like this tragedy that I've experienced in my life, and to have an ability to jump on opportunities, podcasts, to talk about it that not only helps me, but helps other people.
After your whole shoulder incident happened, was there any kind of substance abuse because of everything you'd been through?
No, I mean, I've always smoked a lot of weed. Can you abuse weed? Sure, why not?
I don't know. It's a
whole
debate.
debate now.
I feel like there's gray area of everything.
Yeah, I mean, I
but-
smoke weed probably like twice a day. So, and I've done so since I was like 18, 19.
I mean, listen, I know a lot of people that it works for.
Yeah, I mean, I remember I remember reading an article about the guy that started WeWorks, and like with the whole like Ponzi scheme and whatever, they were like talking about it in this magazine. They're like, and the investors were seriously upset when they found out he was smoking weed over international waters. And I was like, damn, his investors would be really pissed off at me. If they knew what I did on international waters. Yeah. So, I mean, no drug use. I've had a couple close calls that I was like, you dumb fucker. Like, do you not know? Like,
What do you mean a couple close calls?
Like, New Year's, the first New Year's I was celebrating with my wife after we got married, we were like, oh, let's do some hippie flips. So mushrooms and Molly.
Okay.
And I was super dehydrated. I was training really hard at the time. And I took an Adderall earlier that morning. I was prescribed it.
The
right?
Adderall is what fucks everyone. You mix that in with the stuff, huh?
I never did that. It wasn't for recreational use. I was never one of those people that's like, oh, I'm going to take an Adderall so I can get a bunch of shit done. It was like I was given Adderall to study and do stuff. Like I was prescribed it for years, and I hadn't taken it in a long time. And I took it that day because I had a lot of shit to do for work. And I was like, I got to focus, like my brain. Took it at like 9 a.m. Well, at like 11 o'clock, we're like hippie flipping. I'm like, 1 minute I'm drinking orange juice. The next minute I'm waking up thinking I'm drowning and laying on the bathroom floor, and, smacked my head on the toilet so hard I broke the toilet seat. And earrings, I had like plugs. Like I used to have like, plugs in my ears, literally like jumped out of my ears. Like I hit my head
Just from the
hard,
impact.
Just from the impact. And they said I was like foaming at the mouth and just shaking. And so that was pretty wild. So that was an experience enough to realize that drugs like that are not my friend. And I had like another one similar, but it wasn't, like that. I wasn't like, oh, I'm taking multiple drugs. It was like I took one drug and I was dehydrated again, just going too hard, always pushing.
People listen to this show and like they've heard us be hard on Adderall use, and I think
it is disgusting. P.S.
Well,
Like that's a whole part of my story.
The reason we've had people like Dr. Amen on the show say like for the right people, the right prescription, it's a medication. Obviously, it's to be used as such. But personally, Lauren and I have a handful of friends, some that aren't with us anymore, that mixed Adderall with other hard substances, and they didn't think like the 2 and 2 were going to affect each other. And it, like you said, it can go the other way fast.
Yeah, we also have friends that have taken Adderall mixed it with a bunch of different shit, and they're alive and they have severe brain problems. Now, I think it's like if you need it and you're being supervised for a doctor, it's one thing. I think it becomes a problem when people abuse it.
Well, to your point, though, you took it in the morning. You didn't even think that it would have a connection that far away later in the evening, right? And
Yeah.
it definitely does because it stays in your system. And, you know, we've had even a lot of our friends. I remember I went back to, me and my buddy were going to work construction one summer, and we had to do drug tests, and he had taken Adderall to study. And he came back tested positive for meth, and they're like, "We're not hiring you." But he wasn't taking meth. He was taking Adderall, which I guess registers on the test.
Yeah, methamphetamine. I mean, it's
powerful shit.
You said that you had an experience with it. What was your experience like?
I mean, I was prescribed it. I was like the founding class of Ritalin. You know, I mean, so first grade, I'd get an announcement over the loudspeaker.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, come to the
office to take your pill.
I forgot about those announcements. That's vintage.
Literally, like that's what they would say. Come to the office to take your pill. So then I became like the black sheep in my school because like the teacher told them that I had to take special pills because I'm hyper. And it's funny because that same year I ended up testing up 2 grades. And they ended up having to put me in like 3rd grade from like 1st grade.
You're so focused.
Well, it was like I was in challenge, and then they like ended up putting me back down. It was kind of interesting. Like I went through some weird stuff in school. But my experiences with Ritalin was at a very young age. I spoke to myself somewhere and was like, prescription drugs are not good. Right? Like I knew something was going on inside when I would take them that I did not like the way I felt. It was not making me right. And I knew it was directly prescription medication, just like how I knew that it was bad food, what foods it was that was making my parents and my sisters overweight, or what foods made me feel a certain way. I started having this really strong internal voice around my health. And at right around the 12-year-old age, when I got that giant stack of Iron Man magazines, there was a study in there about caffeine and neurotransmitters. And they talked about L-tyrosine and L-theanine as incredible neurotransmitters to be combined with caffeine. So I have a paper out, and we would always stop, and my dad would get me a donut, and he would get himself a coffee. And one morning I said, "Get me a coffee." And I drank coffee that morning instead of my Ritalin. And it was within about a week, my mom went to like Walgreens, and I went and checked and found the Nature Made brand from Walgreens, found L-theanine capsules, and I started dumping L-theanine capsules inside my coffee at 12 years old.
Holy shit. That is like a story and how you have this brand.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. So you made like nature's Adderall.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and that's effectively what it is. I mean, we need an amphetamine, an upper, right, to stimulate. And then you need dopamine and serotonin to regulate the norepinephrine and the ephedrine that your body is creating. So it will effectively give you a very strong focused feeling. And there's another ingredient in there that supports cognitive function that has actual clinical studies that obviously didn't exist when I was 12 years old, but it was a rudimentary thought process on how I could make myself focus through a natural ingredient and just an amino acid.
So did you meet your wife before you launched your company?
I did. Yeah. So after fighting, I moved out to LA, and
is this before you're on Strong or after?
So this is before Strong.
Okay, go ahead.
So I moved out to LA, and the LA was like the place for me. It quickly. It was like in 2 days, I had like 12 auditions. I was like going from here to here. It was wild. I got a job at Pulse Fitness, which was like the studio in Sherman Oaks. It was Pulse or Barry's Boot Camp. And this was like 13 years ago. So, I mean, it was like the place, right? All the actresses are hanging out there. And that was my life. I was,
Did you hook up with any actresses? Don't lie.
I mean, yes.
What does it rhyme with?
I mean, yes.
What does it rhyme with?
I wouldn't say that she's an actress, but she's a fitness celebrity in person. So
okay, so you guys have to think hard. Who is a big fitness celebrity in person?
Yeah. She was a character with pink hair one time on a show. If that helps you. Jackie Warner? No. So
did you hook up with Jackie Warner too?
No. So I'm in LA, and I get a big break. I ended up getting this awesome commercial. First I had this audition for Biggest Loser. And they were like, we love you. It's just not right. So I'm like, all right, cool.
And you were pursuing television opportunities at this time.
The whole reason that when I got done fighting, how I justified all the time that I put into it is I was like, this world's going to take off. Like this whole, like looking for tough guys that are good looking with tattoos is going to be a real thing. Like, because it was a bunch of phonies pretending to be tough.
Yeah.
And that you could tell when people aren't tough. It's like, oh, that's just a soft ass dude pretending to be a tough guy. Right. Versus like a tough guy who can act and looks like a tough guy. You know, you can't fake cauliflower ears. You know, like different things like that you
what's
want.
that meme again? Where it's like you get like it's what's it called? It's Jack Nicholson smiling and laughing. He's like, when I see the guy across the bar getting ready to pick the fight with the guy with the cauliflower ears, it's like, oh fuck, wrong guy, dude.
Wrong guy, dude.
Yeah.
So I'm on this set shooting a commercial. You know, I have all these people interested in me, and I get a text message from my sister that my dad has cancer. She's like, call me up. She's like, Dad just got back from some tests and his you know, T cell counts are, you know, all off and
where are you
blastocytes.
two at this point? You and your dad's relationship?
Pretending that like he's like not an asshole and that like I'm okay with him, but like really I'm only seeing him maybe once every like 6 months, and I talk to him maybe like once a week when I'd be calling my mom.
And quickly, because I forgot to ask, we've been going like so far, so many places.
Yeah.
When your brother passed, what does that do to your parents?
I would say that my mom and dad did a pretty good job of like they were very good there for
They kept
each
it
other.
together.
Yeah. I would say that for any parent, you know, whoever has to go through like losing, you know, a kid, if you have other kids, you have to acknowledge the fact that they may be in pain too. And you should really think about how to make sure that they're okay as well, while also taking care of yourself. Because I never got a once, are you okay? You know, and to be only 22 and have your brother die, and for nobody to ever ask you, are you okay with, you know, like, are you good?
It sounds like your family didn't ask that though your whole childhood too.
No, it really wasn't.
Like
Yeah,
it
and
sounds like no one was checking if you were okay.
Yeah, I mean, they all had like their own shit. Like my sister was overweight and was dealing with like, you know, she had bulimia or anorexia, you know, because she kind of like struggled with some eating disorders here and there. You know, Gretchen struggled with her, you know, education and like when she graduated high school kind of stuff. And, you know, it was always a thing. And then she got pregnant like when she was like 20 or, you know, 21, something, you know, very young, you know, for her and like where she was in her life. So everybody kind of always had their own thing. And when my brother died, they all had their own significant others. I didn't have that. So it was like they all just like turned their head and their shoulders to their significant others and cried to them. But like I didn't have that, you know. I mean, like my own friends miss my brother's funeral, you know, or it'd be like to this day they still don't know that I'm pissed off at him for it. But
He's pissed off.
yeah, for sure I'm pissed off.
He's pissed off.
Yeah. You don't miss your homie's brother's funeral and their dad's funeral.
I think people are extremely uncomfortable dealing with death.
I agree.
And I think that it's one of those things that you can't expect someone to understand unless they've been through it.
100%.
You know, and that's, I mean, I guess you have to come from it with empathy.
Me?
No,
Yes,
not you.
Yeah.
Everyone, like in general, like you just have to come and be like empathetic to the fact that they maybe haven't lost someone and they don't understand because
Totally.
I don't know if you can describe how it feels to lose someone who's close to you.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, like, it's interesting. Like, am I pissed that somebody didn't show up for me when I needed it? Yes. Do I hold it against them? No, because I know everybody has their own issues and their own experiences. Like, I remember not wanting to watch a movie that my wife really wanted to watch because I did not want to watch a main character deal with alcoholism.
Huh.
Right? Because, like, I just didn't feel like fucking dealing with that at that moment. I'm sorry. I do not feel like watching whatever, you know, Lady Gaga movie that, whatever, The Star is Born, right? I didn't feel like watching that movie because he deals with alcohol issues and shit the whole movie. And I'm like, that's just like a trigger I don't feel like playing with, you know, at this
People
moment.
got really like irritated with me in my own life when I didn't enjoy that movie.
Oh, that was just a
I'm
side
sorry.
note that.
I'm sorry. I just
Little
didn't.
side note, its soundtrack's good.
Soundtrack's great.
I
Yeah.
didn't like the movie either.
I just didn't find
Fuck
it.
that movie.
Yeah, okay, sorry. Sorry, I know people. Listen, the little monsters are gonna fucking get me now. But I didn't
You're
like it.
canceled. You're canceled.
Oh, that's happened many times.
So when your sister calls you and tells you that your father has cancer, one, were you expecting to hear it from your father? And two, what did that bring up from you for your childhood?
Full on truth. I finished that photo shoot. I went to my tattoo artist. I said, yo, man, I got to go. I'm like, can you do the tattoo tonight? And he's like, fuck, dude, I'm exhausted. I'm like, I have some Coke. I literally had the smallest amount on me from like a client.
I can see why you and Khalil are friends. That's all I'm going to say. Midway through this podcast, I'm going to sit here and acknowledge Khalil. I can see why you and Khalil are friends. It's because you guys are absolutely fucking unfiltered.
It's a good thing we mentioned Khalil again because he's probably listening to this and almost turned it off without.
He just got hard right now.
He's back. He just turned the volume back up. He just turned to
He's
Taylor.
like, oh wait, this just got better.
He just turned to Taylor's girl and was like, listen, do you hear that? Hi, Khalil.
I love how like in 2020, like everyone or whatever the year is, 22, everyone's like realness, unfiltered. Like, no, you and Khalil are really unfiltered.
I always have been.
Okay, I love it. I'm obsessed with it. Okay,
Yeah.
so you tell the tattoo artist, I have some Coke.
Yeah, I mean, he was like, I'm exhausted. I'm like, I have some Coke. He's like, let's do this. So in the middle of my tattoo, my car is loaded. I drive this Toyota Yaris back then, right? And my whole life fit in this bitch. It was hilarious. It was so, like literally like a bike like sticking out the window. So we finish up and we probably did just like a little too much because there was, and I'm like, I'm good. Well, I get this phone call from my buddy and he's like, hey, we're in Vegas. How far is LA? I was like, close enough to drive. I got in my car, drove to Vegas. It's probably like 10 o'clock at night. Drove to Vegas, got to Vegas around like 3 a.m, 2:30 in the morning, something like that. Partied for 24 hours and then drove the rest of the way home.
No hookers.
No hookers.
What's up with you and the hookers, Lauren?
Yeah. No,
Jesus.
no.
I
But
feel like if the reason I can ask him, I feel like he'll tell me the truth. That's why I'm asking.
no hookers. No hookers. I mean, I don't have to pay for sex. I mean, shit.
Everyone's Googling you right now. He's married.
Yeah, no hookers. But it was cool, moved back, surprised my mom and dad at breakfast. And, I went and took like a 4-hour nap, woke up and I was like, Dad, I'm exhausted. Could you drive me downtown? I need to get a job. And, I went from making like 75, 80,000 a year being a union electrician. I had all these great sponsorships with fighting. So I like never had to pay for shit. Now I'm like looking at like $12 an hour jobs. And I chose between 2 jobs, be a manager at the Buckle or be a doorman at this high-end place and this whiskey spot. And I chose that spot. 2 weeks later, I met my wife. I met my first business investor. I made a name for myself.
How'd you meet your wife?
She was the hostess with the mostest.
Did you like her right away?
I was not looking for anything, so no.
Oh, none of you guys are looking for stuff.
Well,
we have to listen. No guys are looking for stuff until they find the person that is right.
Yeah, because of what I was going through, I really felt that Milwaukee was just a pit stop. So I didn't want to get connected to anything and I know my heart would be open to that.
And you also were getting laid a lot.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I love guys are so funny. They come on here talking about their heart. You guys, come on.
Yeah,
come on.
Actually, I will say
you got to read the crowd. You were getting laid a lot.
Yeah.
You just came from Vegas on a Coke bender with your tattoo artist. I don't know about your heart. I feel like there was other things.
My heart was closed off at this moment.
Yeah. Maybe I was just dead inside. Yeah, no, I was not emotionally fully there. And I think it was wild. Like I of course saw her and thought she was really pretty. And she was so sweet. Like, and she had like all these like, she's got this massive smile, like very big smile, and I'm a big smile, big nose guy. Like I like noses that are bigger. Like, and she's got like a bigger nose, and I was just like, I'm like, oh shit, like she's really cute. But like nothing about me was like, you should approach that. One, because I work there and I'm like, I try to follow some form of professionalism. And two, I just wasn't emotionally there. Well, I think within like a couple of weeks, she like came up to me. She like went up to the nightclub upstairs and came down drunk and was like, you're an idiot. And I'm like, oh, really? Do tell.
You're like, marry me.
And she's like, I fucking like you. And she's like, you don't even pay attention. And I'm like, well, I'm paying attention right now, and I told her I was cleaning downstairs. You want to come downstairs and hang out with me while I clean for a little bit? And we ended up kissing. That's it. But 2 weeks later, we hooked up for the first time. And like 3 months later, we were married.
Wow. When you said that she had, you were like, she had a massive, I thought you were going to say boobs. Then you're like, smile and a big nose. I was like, thought you were going to say big tits.
Not a big nose,
Yeah, she's like, listening. I bet her nose is perfect.
It is perfect. Yeah.
When I saw Lauren, she had massive tits. And
and you were like,
and
whoa.
I thought to myself,
this is true. You thought I was a substitute teacher.
And I was like, all right, here we go.
I did have massive tits at 12. What do you want me to say? You know what, though? You have a daughter now, so be careful what you wish for, buddy.
I know.
Yeah. That's a great equalizer, the daughters.
It is. It is. Yeah, I mean, so I met my wife, and she was 20. I was 29.
That's a great age difference, though.
Yeah, no, it was great. It's just not something I was totally expecting. And all within like 6 months, we got married. We opened up a gym. My gym was voted like the best gym in Milwaukee. We outgrew 3 spaces. We went from a 1,200 square foot to a 6,000 square foot space in 2.5 years. I starred in a movie, and she was the makeup artist. Yeah.
What's the movie?
It's called The Breakout. It was called Blunt Force when it originally was being produced. I got stuck in post-production. I could show you guys like a little clip.
It wasn't A Star Is Born. Thank God.
No, it wasn't A Star Is Born, but it was interesting.
It was fucked up, huh? It was like, I hate that movie. He's like, that's the movie. I was like, oh,
that's the movie. I poured my heart into
Turned it off right before you came on.
Yeah. No, we spent a month, like it was a month of our life. And this was like a big life-changing month. It was a month of our life. It was December. It was our second year being married. My dad was getting, sicker, like leukemia was just constantly chewing away at him. And me and my dad had really worked on our relationship. Funny enough, I hired him as my maintenance man, and I would break shit just to make him show up and work. So I had a reason to like connect with him. I'd literally like grab a shelf and be like, I haven't seen my dad in a week. And I'd like break the shelf off the wall, and he'd have to come in and like patch the drywall up. And I'd be like, yeah, fucking ball hit it.
That is a way though to keep, I think, older people's brains stimulated, is to keep them working.
Totally. Yeah. He retired. And with like cancer, he was clearly like feeling helpless in certain ways. So I wanted him to feel, like he had a purpose. And I mean, they gave him like a year. He was around for, almost 3.5 years.
And did you ever get to the point with him where he could acknowledge some of the things he did to you when you were a kid?
Not really. But he at least could acknowledge the person that I've become, despite his lack of love in certain areas.
Like he was proud of you.
Yeah. There's certain things I did with him. Like I took last time before he died, I was like maybe like 13. We took me to a baseball game, and he got like free tickets from work or something like that. And I jumped up to cheer, and I jumped up and my elbow hit him in the face or the glasses or something like that. And he like pulls my arm down, rips me back in the seat and says, if I do it again, he'll fucking kill me. And it's like, I'm just like trying to cheer at a baseball game, So I think it was like maybe like 3.5 months before he died, I took him to a Brewers game, and like we went to another baseball game. I made sure that I didn't hit him in the face with my elbow. But
sometimes I look at like when you're talking about your dad, like I wonder what his dad or parents.
Well, his dad was a piece of shit.
Did to him.
But it was like
because that's learned behavior.
Like a massive provider, money, blah blah blah. But certainly like a control freak. Like his dad, check this out. His dad thought my mom and dad should only have 2 kids because that's the perfect number of children. So when my mom had a third kid, he stopped talking to my mom for over 25 years.
That's a fucking weird mentality.
Very weird. So he died at 96 on my birthday. I say all the time that he died on my birthday to spite me. Like he was literally like that old of a fuck, and he was living with us at the time. He'd just walk around in his like little janitor outfit, and he like would just like cause chaos around the house the last like 2 years of his life that he was alive. And remember him chopping down at one of my dad's apple trees in the backyard, and my dad's like, "What the fuck are you doing? Like that tree was alive." My grandpa's like, "I'm gonna take a nap," and then that was my birthday. He didn't wake up.
I mean, it is true. This is so cliche to say, but it is true. Like hurt people hurt people.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, my dad was definitely hurt. And that's why, like, in the end, I wasn't mad at him anymore. Because, like, I knew that if I held on to that and I didn't, like, let it go and I didn't try to help him, and my wife helped him so much. Like, I will say, like, I owe so much to my wife for helping him as much as she did, because I couldn't. Because, like, I was still mad at him.
Yeah.
In certain ways, and I wasn't getting the closure I needed at certain ways, and I was also super busy. Like, I mean, I took on everything. Like, I would be bartending till 2 a.m, Friday through Sunday. I would teach classes at 5 a.m, 6 a.m, 4 p.m, 5 p.m, 6 p.m, Monday through Friday. And I got reached out to, and, you know, like probably like a year into our relationship with my wife, maybe like 6 months, something like that. My cousin, Jeffrey Brezevoir. Do you know Milo Manheim? The dancer kid, Disney star, like Dances with the Stars, all that stuff. So his dad is my cousin. And he like reaches out to me, and I never met him before. He's like, "You look just like me. How tall are you?" And he's like, "Well, I'm like 6'3". I'm like, "Oh shit, I'm only 5'11". I'm like, apparently I didn't get the tall genes, you know? He's like, "I want to introduce you to some people in New York." And within like 3 months, I lost 30 pounds of muscle, and I was shooting in New York with like some of the biggest names in New York in fashion modeling.
This is when you walked the runway with Gigi Hadid at Versace.
Yeah. So I didn't walk the runway. I did a 7-day photo shoot with her.
How was that?
It was incredible. I mean, Gigi was so sweet. So
professional, right? Huh?
Super professional. I have some really funny. I have some funny stories about her. So I mean, I start modeling, and almost seemingly like some shit popped off, like Marc Jacobs, like Amphar, like some cool stuff. Made a cover of like a magazine. Harper's Bazaar like shot me, like all these like really cool things. And then I died out for like 2 years, like nothing happened. Then I just get this call from Versace, and they're like, X a day, X days. I'm only supposed to be there for 2. They love me. Bruce Weber loved me so much. Then he ended up keeping me for 6 days. So they're like, "Hey, you're the only one that like looks a certain way. We're going to have you paired with Gigi Hadid." They're like, "You know, can you work with her on punching you in the face?" You know, and I'm like, "Yeah, sure. Like, we'll get the timing right." You know, and we do this whole photo shoot where like her and I are like tussling, and she like grabs me by the face, and then she kisses me.
Hold on. You and her are tussling. Are you married at this point? What's your wife?
I am married at this point.
Is your wife loving that you're tussling with Gigi Hadid? Like, what the fuck does tussling mean?
We're wrestling. Yeah. So
like, "Oh, my shoulder."
Yeah, "Oh, it hurts. Get off me. No, sit back on me." Just kidding.
Canceled.
Yeah, again. Yeah. So I mean, so they're like, "Hey, work with Gigi." I'm like, "Cool." And because I ended up working with Gigi, they ended up extending my days, and it was amazing. I mean, Gigi did this whole scene where she like throws 1-2, she like kicks at me, and I like block it, and then she grabs my face and she kisses me, and then looks at me and just throws a hook. Well, the thing was they really wanted to catch that hook connection. Like they actually wanted her to like hit my face. So I had to like time the snap right. Well, the thing is for the last 6 months, she had been taking boxing lessons. So she actually kind of knew how to turn her hip.
Oh, fuck.
Which kind of created a problem because she actually connected like 3 times. So they ended up bringing an acupuncturist in, her like acupuncturist, and they ended up doing acupuncture on my face and her hand because she ended up like swelling up her whole hand, hitting my temple. And I had like just like a little bruise. Well, Bruce Weber, being the artist he is, sees all these needles out of my face and is like, can you put 20 more in his body? So then they're just taking photos with acupuncture needles just sporadically throughout my whole body in underwear. And none of them were like actually put in meridians or positive points or anything. So my arms started getting all numb.
So you come home to your wife that day and you're like, hey,
I was gone for 5 days in New York by myself.
Gigi tried to hit me 3 times, and then she made out with me, and then afterwards we got naked and put needles all over our body.
Yeah, that's about right.
Okay. And we tussled.
And I have the photo proof to show it. Yeah. I mean, it was pretty cool. I got to shoot with some incredible models there. The coolest thing is that me and Donatella Versace became friends. It's so cool. I'm actually wearing the underwear she gave me.
Can you bring her on the podcast with both of you together?
I could reach out to her.
Please.
That's a tall ask, Lauren.
Yeah, that is a tall ask, but I could ask her.
Both of them on the podcast together.
If you can't get her on the podcast, will you just get her to gift me some underwear, please?
Yes,
okay,
I could definitely do that.
I'll settle for underwear.
I'll see if I can find my photos for you guys of her and I hanging out at lunch.
Please do. We'll post it on the Instagram feed when this goes live.
Yeah. So she's absolutely sweet. Her and I are sitting next to each other, eating at lunch during this photo shoot. And she's like asking me these questions and it's borderline hitting on me, right? She tells me how good I would look in this suit. And she like brings me in the back. She shows me the suit, gives me like a $10,000 suit, has her guy like fully tailor it to me. Which I probably won't fit it again until I'm like 70. Cause like, it'll take that long to lose the muscle that I've gained since that photo shoot. Cause I was about 8 pounds, 9 pounds lighter and just much thinner in certain areas. Yeah. But we're talking and hanging out and she's like, you're a dad. She's like, that's wonderful. And she's like, show me a picture of your kid. And first photo I show her, it's me holding my daughter in my hand like this. And she would like stand in my hand. And, she's like, oh my God. She's like, your daughter can just do that. And I'm like, yeah, totally. And she's like, would you like to be the face of Versace with your daughter? And I'm like, what? And so she, I'm pulling up this photo. So we're like.
While you're pulling the photo up, there's a tattoo on your wedding finger of a wedding ring.
Yes.
Did your wife do that right after the Gigi Hadid?
No. This is actually before I got married.
Okay.
It was kind of like a no-fly list. It was like,
what does that mean?
I wasn't looking for any commitment. Like it was me committing to myself.
Got it.
Yeah.
And then your wife came along.
Yeah. So this is me and my daughter shooting Versace. So
that is so cool. You have to frame this. Is this in your daughter's room?
Yeah, we actually kept like all the clothes that she has. So that's just like one of the photos. Actually, I can show you the Gigi Hadid one too.
You are in this picture thinner, huh?
Yeah. There's like, I do I have workouts that are specifically for when I want to model.
You're in trouble with your daughter.
I know, she's gorgeous.
You're in big trouble.
You know what's crazy is she's tall too. So my wife is about 5'9".
She's very pretty.
Yeah. And her mom is 6'2". And so height, there is a height thing. But here's actually me and Gigi Hadid. I'm actually holding ice on my face after she punched me. They had her like sit next to me while I held ice on my face. And
you've lived an interesting life, man.
Yeah. I mean, that's just
I know we're not even there yet.
Yeah, that's just the first couple of years.
We're at the foreplay of it all.
Yeah, totally.
During all of this, when does this come into play?
So that's so my daughter is born, my first daughter, Azalea.
And when I say this for people listening, it's Strong Coffee.
Strong Coffee Company. Yeah. So my daughter is born and it's probably like one of the greatest, it's one of the greatest, it's the greatest moment of my life up to this point, right? I mean, I have my first daughter. I remember when she came out, I just looked at my wife and I was like, she's beautiful. Like it was this like moment that I couldn't connect with while she was pregnant, that it was real until it was real.
I think that's common for a lot of men. I share that experience.
Yeah.
Well, because
wait until you have a second kid. Okay. There's another interesting thing that comes up.
You know
that I'll explain to you.
Please explain it. But let me tell you one thing. Yesterday, this motherfucker on the way to the appointment.
Well, this is not about me. This is about Adam.
Well, you are a motherfucker.
6,000 years pregnant, and he goes, oh, I can't figure out. I'm just feeling slightly fatigued.
I was trying to, well, I did all this NAD yesterday. I was
Look,
like,
he's still committed to it.
I was thinking,
literally, no one fucking cares how you feel. No one in the room.
I've talked to I think my cells are going through fission instead of fusion.
Oh, I have to hear about his cells. I'm
I'm
over here building lips and eyebrows, and he's talking about like his cell.
Have you ever
like,
done NAD? Have you done it before?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So you know. Okay. Anyway,
just shut up. Let's go off on a tangent for 1 second before we get into what he just asked you. What's the weird thing about the second?
You want to talk about that now first?
Just really quick.
Yeah. So the hardest thing about having a second kid is not only are you disconnected from like the rearing of like the child, like the developing it, right? Because you don't have that.
Yeah. Of course.
That empathetic connection is that how are you ever going to love anything
What was I saying in the car the other day?
as much as you love your first kid?
He's having this problem.
I'm not having a problem.
Let alone still loving this one, right? Like it starts like
you start
so like you have Lauren, you have your second kid.
Oh, you guys feel overwhelmed?
No, it's not overwhelming.
Oh,
no, it's actually not overwhelming. It's actually guilt. I feel guilt that I may somehow not like this kid. So
he should feel guilt that he's put me through.
Lauren, calm down.
This heartburn.
Take a deep breath. Well, not a deep breath because Huberman said you have to take a breath and then another one. No, I was saying to her the other day, I was like, it's a weird thing to connect with because you exactly what you said. I was like, I wonder how I'll love something as much because it's almost like you can't fathom that there's an ability to love something more than you already love the first child.
Yeah, I mean that carried through for like the first 6 months that my second daughter was born. Like I really didn't like her in like a weird way.
No one's ever said anything like that. That's a really honest statement.
It's believe me, I love her, but like something about me wasn't connecting with her. And it wasn't until she actually started showing some signs of like a personality that allowed me to attach to these things that she did that were unique and different
from the other one.
From the other one, to discern the two, and the love that I have for them was actually the same, not more, because there is not more.
And now, how old are they?
They're 7 and 8,
and now it's the same.
So Arrow, my 7-year-old, she's my Fortnite buddy. Like her and I crush. Like we play video games together.
Don't give me any ideas.
She like pounds me. Like she thinks I'm the coolest. The other day, she figured out that I was gonna die one day and started crying because she didn't know who she was gonna play video games with. And like, it broke my damn heart. I was like, I will play video games with you till the day I die. Don't worry about it. And it's just like these little things. So, that said, it's just interesting. You have to really, everybody has to do their own work in every individual experience as a parent. Like you'll have like certain work that will come up that you wouldn't almost expect having a second kid, that you'll be like, oh shit, like this is, this doesn't feel the same, like, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Because it's not new. It's not the first time.
The pregnancy that feels different than the first one. He's not in it. This pregnancy feels super different than the first one.
Yeah.
Hint, hint, hint.
Uh-oh.
Well, I do think this is interesting to talk about because the first time, like you said, it's the first time. You've never done it. You don't know what to expect. It's like this, like the second time, a lot of that kind of first time feeling is gone. And then you're also questioning all the things we just talked about.
Yeah.
Obviously, every parent that's got more than one kid has gone through this. But, do
you feel like you're not as supported on the second time around?
I think that this is what I feel. And I think a lot of women can relate to this. In the first pregnancy, you have your partner's full capacity and attention. And men have a little bit trouble.
Because they apply their nerves to it in some manner. Because they're like, I don't know what's going on, so I'm going to try to do as much as I can.
And they're focused on you. They apply their nerves.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Yeah, and they're like really careful of you. But then when you bring a toddler into the mix, the energy has to be dispersed.
Yeah.
So his energy has to go towards the toddler too. So
the majority also of my time now as she gets further along is I have to take care of the kid a lot, which is great. It's fine.
This is a therapy session.
No, but it's because, she's fully pregnant, right? And so she's not, she can't lift the kid up and down the stairs as much. There's a lot going on.
How old is the other one?
She's almost 2.5.
Oh yeah.
So it's an interesting juxtaposition, and it's just weird to be pregnant the second time when you're used to having full attention the first time.
I think it's kind of like the idea is like never, like don't wake up with expectations. It's almost like
that's good advice. Yes,
I have a list of expectations.
Yeah. Well, it's almost like we almost have to, as you do more, you have to expect less, right? In some manner
You're
of
right.
speaking.
And Lauren, in your case, maybe you don't even have to have no expectations, but let's maybe have them, like cut them in half.
Just write a list of them and then rip the list in half.
Okay, back to
Okay,
the
back to the coffee.
back to the strong coffee, because
So yeah, let's talk about it. So what ended up happening was my dad died 3 months after my daughter was born. But right around that time, we were in this gym. I grew this gym, and it was crushing it right in the middle of downtown Milwaukee. And we had this smoothie shop that was in the front of our gym that was upgrading locations. So I worked it out with them that they left everything there, and we opened up a coffee shop. And it was called Strong Coffee. And in 3 months, my daughter was born, my dad died, and Strong Coffee ran out of money. And less than a month later, I was casted for the TV show Strong, and I was called about Versace. And for the next 3 years, I would just be a tornado of things, from, doing the show, burying my dad, doing the show, coming back, moving my family to California, all these things, shutting down Strong Coffee within 3 months of opening it the first time, because I was just overwhelmed, undercapitalized, all these things. Something had to give. And we go into this TV show, and I find myself on TMZ. Once the show premieres, it was kind of wild. I have these people out in LA that want to hire me to be their trainer, the founder of Tom's, Blake Mycoskie, YG, the rapper, Ray Lewis, Joakim Noah. I'm working with all these celebrities and professional athletes. So I move out there, and I'm doing that. And one day I'm sitting at Sun Life in Malibu, and I always had this thing about Sun Life that every client I got allowed me one smoothie a week. So when I first got there, I only could buy one smoothie a week because I only had one client. Then I got a second client, and I got a third client, and all of a sudden
Khalil's shit's not cheap.
No, it's not cheap.
Yeah.
Right. And it's also, for me, it was I'm supporting a wife and 2 kids, right? Most people stopping at Sun Life are either millionaires or supporting themselves. It's everybody, it's very rare that you meet people at Sun Life that have kids that are, hip and vibe, driving around G-Wagons and stuff. Right. So I'm kind of this outsider, but I fit in because of the people I train, but I'm dad as fuck, sitting over here, enjoying my one cheapest smoothie I can, with each client. And Khalil comes up to me and he buys me a smoothie. And he pulls out his phone. He goes, I was looking on Facebook or Instagram. He's like, what is this? And he shows me the coffee post from 2013 when I was featured in a food magazine for this premier coffee creamer that had never been seen in the space before. And I was the first person to ever take collagen and MCT powders and put it into a non-dairy coffee protein-based creamer in 2013. So it never existed up until that point. I even put L-theanine in it, so it managed anxiety. So it was anxiolytic, right? So now I'm talking to Khalil, it's 2018. He's like, you should do this again. And I was like, man, I'm doing X as a trainer. I got no fucking time. He's like, yeah, but if you don't do this, you're going to regret it. And I was like, yeah, but Strong Coffee Company, I doubt the URL even exists anymore. Somebody has to have snatched it up. I let it go 3 years ago or 2 years ago. And he's like, oh, check it out. I go on my GoDaddy account. StrongCoffeeCompany.com is available. I pay $11.99 for it. I find the Instagram. I started putting prototypes together. And at the time, the Fit Expo, which is the LA Fitness Expo, they're paying me to be their MC. So I MC the whole show. I hop up on stages and I, bring people on stage, introduce, interview, do things like that. And in pay, they could either pay me or I could get a free booth. So I was like, I'll take the free booth. And I would sample my prototype coffees with little written surveys, no brand, no nothing. Just grab a free coffee, tell me what you think about it. In between my MCing, I'd run to my booth, and then I'd find the influencers and Instagram and walk around and hand them free coffee because they're all exhausted, shaking people's hands and meeting people. I was always a godsend. People are like, oh my God, godsend, this is coffee. And that's how I started meeting more of these Instagram influencers in the fitness business. And, you know, I'm one too, but like, I'm not like Mr. Million followers and shit, you know, trainer.
You should have just walked around naked with needles in your arm in your Versace boxers.
You know, I didn't think about that.
Yeah. Hello.
Damn, hello.
With your
With
heart on
hookers.
your sleeve.
With
With
my
hookers.
hookers. So I'm trying this coffee out, and I get it to a place where people really are digging it. And it's a long drive home from San Jose Sunday night for the Fit Expo in San Jose. And Monday morning, bright and early, I am training the founder of Upworthy and Good Inc., Ben Goldhirsch, and the CEO, that founder. And he answers the door in his underwear, and he's like, I'd offer you some coffee, but I don't have any. It's nice to meet you. I was like, hey, I actually happen to have this coffee in my car. Why don't you put on some pants? I'll go grab this coffee, and we can get this training going, you know? And he's like, cool. So I make this coffee for him. He's like, holy shit. His wife comes down, and she's like, what's that smell? It's amazing. She's like, I thought we didn't have any coffee. He's like, our trainer brought some coffee. She's like, I want to try it. Tries it. Likes it. He's like, my wife never loves anything. Claire Hoffman, she's like this very well-known writer for Rolling Stones. And, you know, my wife doesn't love anything. So he calls me. He's like, how do we get more? I'm like, we don't. That's it. Doesn't exist anymore. I'm like, those are prototypes. I'm like, the next thing has to be in order. He's like, how much? I'm like, X amount of units. He's like, cool. Let's get this company started.
How much was it? How many units? Do you remember the price?
Yeah, I spent $75,000 in product. And then I had $75,000 for payroll and marketing.
And he helped you with that in the beginning.
He gave me the $150,000 for a percentage of my company.
So you were just in the right place at the right time with the right product, with the right talent.
I said no to not many things in my life, meaning like I always showed up, right? So if somebody said, I got this guy, go train him at 4 a.m.
You figured it out.
I figured it out.
I love people like you.
Yeah.
So
it's like right place, right time. Like I think it was
that.
inevitable that I was going to be in the right place. I wrote this post one time because I was boxing with YG. And it's, you know, the post was like, I never imagined I'd be here. Is a complete fucking lie. Because everything I've done was to get here. So it's like, there's no way I didn't believe I was going to get here.
It's
just a matter of time.
It was just a matter of time.
I feel the same way. And it's funny because I do this meditation every day, and it says the frequency that you put out there and the energy and the visualization that you put out there, if it all meets together, you know in time, which is why you can be so patient.
You know why? It's like when they ask successful people, what was the epiphany? And most successful people is there is not an epiphany because you've already envisioned so far. You've already seen yourself there for so long, right? Like you don't just like one day be like, I'm going to try something and like luck strikes and then everything works out, right? Like you've thought about this for so long, you put in so many hours that probably even where it is right now, like you haven't actualized the potential of where you see it's going.
Probably didn't surprise
right?
you.
So it's not surprising when you get there.
I think like what's interesting about, I think some entrepreneurs, yes, I would agree with you on some. Others, there are people out there that have taken 1,000 swings, and that's not luck. That's called you have just fucking like kept on trying failure after failure, and you somehow kept on having support after support, which more than likely you are a privileged individual and have some sense of it, you know.
But there's an argument with those people that most of those things like they're not on the map in a real substantial way, right? Like
when I trained the founder of Tom's, I was like, I mean, I found out like how many businesses failed that nobody knows about, gambling, online businesses, like all these things that failed. And he goes, so he's like, I'm stretching him out, and he goes, it was luck. Tom's was luck, right? Like he got a commercial that ended up airing on the Super Bowl. And the next day, every major department store ordered over $2 million in fucking shoes. It's like some people just have that. Other people show up every day and just grind and grind and grind, right? Like Blake told me I should bootstrap. It's like, dude, you didn't have to bootstrap. You had a fucking Super Bowl commercial in your first 2 months of business because you were on a TV show and you would, you know, and like these other things, like you had this opportunity. I'm making this opportunity.
Sure.
I was told coffee was saturated, that I would never compete in coffee.
Oh, I hate when
by
people
my
say
own fucking
saturated.
investors.
I hate when people say
3
saturated.
years later, Whole Foods picked me up globally and puts me in my own section in the coffee aisle.
And
it's
nothing is saturated if you have a unique perspective.
A unique perspective and a good product. You know how much shitty products are out there? I literally go broke buying competitive products to mine, and I have not found one that has made me worry. I've never found one that I'm like, oh shit, we gotta figure out what these people are doing. I'm usually like, how the fuck are these people selling $50 million in garbage, right? Like there are a lot of people out there selling absolute trash and posing as a health company or, that it's an alternative to coffee and it's healthier or whatever it is. And it's like, ultimately, this isn't like a product that was made from like me wearing a polo shirt and studying marketing analytics and coming from some tech space that I found a hole on Amazon that if we hit this hole just right, we're going to make $3.2 million in the first 6 months. No, this was something that I made every morning. Started over 12 years ago, making this every morning, coffee. Started at 12, putting L-theanine in it. Then one day I started putting protein in it. One day I started putting MCTs in it. It was just kind of like an evolution. And then my clients saying like, I want one. I want one. Me making it for them after their training sessions.
I also agree with you that the best product too is the product that the founder would actually use every single day.
I've drinking this every single day for 4 years.
Well,
that's no bullshit. And when we don't have it, me and my wife will literally not drink coffee because like other coffee gives us anxiety. Other coffee does give us jitters. Other coffee doesn't satiate me. Like I'm going to be hungry in 2 hours.
Do people drink it pregnant?
Totally. 100%. We have like this whole empowered mama group through Nikki Rika, incredible like mom that like talks about health and wellness or like, birth fit mom, Lindsay, drawing a blank on her name, but we did this whole moms thing. They had this moms group and we went and served coffee at this. It's 120 milligrams of caffeine. It's not about a bunch of caffeine. It's about the nutrients and the nutrient pairings to the caffeine, like the L-theanine, the tryptophan. We focus on not dehydrating you. There's hyaluronic acid in here, coconut water extract, Himalayan sea salt. So you have electrolytes and minerals.
So high level, explain to people the difference between this and regular coffee and the ingredients and how you use it.
So, I mean, one of the biggest things that regular coffee has is it kind of like falls short on the promise of like focus and energy, right? It really gives you a lot of like anxious energy. So that comes from a couple of different things, norepinephrine, adrenaline going up, your dopamine, serotonin, not being regulated, and your like neurotransmitters have to like stay in some kind of level, even keel, right? If one's super high and one's super low, the disparity between them is what creates the issue, right? So we raise up serotonin with the adrenaline release that you get from the caffeine. But what we really do is we actually focus as well on the fact that it's mold free, it's toxin free, right? A lot of people don't realize that when they pack traditional coffee beans, they're roasting them and there's moisture in it, and then they're packing them. So you're packing hot, moist things in a space. Do you remember like second grade biology?
Sure.
What does that do? Bacteria, right? And mold, right? So you put warm bread in a plastic bag and you put it away. What happens? That bread turns moldy real quick. So that's what starts happening to the coffee beans sitting on your shelf for only a couple of weeks, right? So our coffee is freeze dried, spray dried, cold brewed coffee. It's low acidic. But then we look at like the overall health impact that coffee can have on us. 70% of us get our antioxidants from coffee. Our majority of our antioxidants from coffee. Coffee is a very rich antioxidant food, right? What's even richer in antioxidants, a specific antioxidant, polyphenols, is the coffee berry itself, where the bean comes from. That berry has, when you extract the coffee berry essence, you actually get a substrate, like an extract that increases BDNF, which is an essential neuroprotein in your brain, by almost 200%. That BDNF is brain-derived neurotropic factors. So this neuroprotein is actually what's related to cognitive decline. So people who have low amounts of BDNF have cognitive decline. Neurodegenerative disease,
dementia, Alzheimer's,
dementia.
Huh.
Right.
That's super interesting.
Super interesting, right? So in India, their BDNF is super high, and this is where we get the science. They have like 0. It's like 6%. Here it's like 40 fucking percent.
That is wild.
So we're not just looking at productivity. We're looking at longevity. We're looking at the idea of like staying strong, striving to reach our natural greatness. This isn't a fucking sprint. It's a marathon, right? I thought I was going to die when I was 35. It's because my brother died when he was 35. I literally had, from the age of 22 to 35, I had the shot clock in the corner of my eye. I literally thought my time was going to be up at any moment, right? Like I didn't know. You know, I lost my dad when he was 62. I lost my brother when I was 35. It's like, what kind of life do I have? So it's like when I look at what I have, it's like I want to achieve as much as I can in the shortest period of time. I don't want to waste time. I'm a fan of Seneca, you know, the shortness of time. It's like this coffee takes you 40 seconds to make. It's like you have a delicious latte. You have breakfast.
How many did you have today?
Like one?
Yeah. Do you only have one in the morning?
Yeah.
You have one
so
and
one's
you're
enough
done.
to like carry you.
And do you do it iced or hot?
I do it hot.
And you don't add anything to it?
I add nothing to it. Water.
And if our audience was going to start with one, because I don't like to overwhelm people, like what's the one to start with that you would recommend?
Yeah, I mean, if they like something sweet, they would want to go with the red bag, the morning fix.
I don't like sweet.
What if I
would you
just
go with?
normally drink black?
Yeah.
Normally drink black. You would actually go with this instant coffee plus adaptogens.
Okay.
So this has reishi in it, ashwagandha,
Yum.
coffee,
And not sweet.
L-theanine. No, this is just black coffee.
I
So
put
you just-
minerals in my coffee every day. Do I have to put minerals in that, or is it good?
And explain to people what L-theanine. I know
Well,
you
I just
touched
want
on
to
it,
know
but
if I have to put my minerals in it.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, I would say since you're putting minerals in your water,
Just put it in the
yes.
coffee. Okay.
There are minerals in our lattes because
Okay.
of the coconut water extract,
Got
the
it.
hyaluronic acid, the Himalayan sea salt. You are getting electrolytes and minerals, but not as much as like you would find in like a fulvic mineral like you're probably taking.
But
or-
you also get hydrated. You have the ashwagandha for the no crash, no jitters.
and there's
well-
protein in this too, huh?
Yeah, so our lattes, so just to kind of give you, like our lattes are for the brain and the body, right? It's proteins, it's healthy fats, it's everything you need for your brain to be super sharp, focus, cognitive, all on tilt. Then the black is just the brain, none of the body, none of the protein, none of the fats. This is just going to make you feel super focused. It's got L-theanine, coconut water. It's got coffee berry, ashwagandha, and reishi. So ashwagandha and reishi are adaptogens. What adaptogens are, they've been used for thousands of years in you know, Eastern medicine. But or what we look at, Western medicine, what we look at is, sorry, Eastern. What we look at is the idea that with stress that you combat every day, whether it's working out or work stress, pregnancy, whatever it is, you want to reduce cortisol hormones in your body, right? Because cortisol is like the silent killer of men, right? So it's like if we, and just silent killer period, but it really stress kills a lot of men, right? Men consume a lot more coffee than women on average. So when I look at different issues, I'm always looking at as a whole, like how do I fight stress? How do I give you, you know, things to help you hydrate your skin? How do I give somebody the protein that they need to, you know, give them the nutrition that they have to fuel this body and this brain and all the greatness that they, you know, are striving for. So it's really something for everybody, whether you want a sweet latte, a bold unsweetened latte. We have a honey lavender coming out on Friday that is absolutely delicious. And then because traditional coffee, this is actually something, this is the first time anybody's hearing about this. This is actually just a prototype, which is, I brought it for you to try. You traditionally drink black coffee, right?
Yeah, but I was thinking when you were talking, if I worked out in the mornings, I could potentially take this before.
Totally. Yeah. And there's actually incredible studies that show how collagen actually does work to increase collagen fibril size. If you take these before you work out, it's going to have the greatest benefits to drink one of these lattes 60 minutes before a workout, not because it's a pre-workout, it's coffee, right? It's a latte.
But if I'm having coffee anyway, usually
But if you're having
that's usually
coffee-
all I have.
Exactly. I drink coffee in the morning. I go to the gym. I think pre-workouts are for fucking children. Like who the fuck's drinking fruit punch at 5 a.m?
Listen,
It's asinine.
don't
to
look
me.
at me. I haven't had a pre-workout since college. You don't even know what I take. what are you looking over
It
there?
looks fruit
It's not.
punchy.
No, I take some aminos sometimes, so it's a different thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, no,
So-
my no explode days are behind me. That was the last time I tried to put that shit in my system was in 2014, and I just threw up everywhere because I
Yeah.
did it in college and I like fucked
Oh, yeah.
myself up.
What are these prototypes?
That's vintage.
So these prototypes I brought for you. So like I was talking about, because coffee has mold and toxins, those build up in your liver, builds up in your body, right? So, but there's molds in other places. We live in Austin. It's actually like the Indians would call it the land of the sick. It's got some of the highest mold counts and, you know, allergen counts and everything, right? So there are other issues that, you know, coffee can cause, like from bacteria, like different digestive issues, different things like that. So we're actually rolling out something called a coffee reset kit. So the coffee reset kit will be 15 days of a reset that will include 15 days of our black coffee and then 15 days of this afternoon complex, and then 15 of these nighttime complex. So the afternoon complex is a restore, revive, and release.
Does it help you taper off coffee if you're a habitual user every day?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it actually gets you off of using habitual use of coffee. So this actually replaces your second cup of coffee while actually removing the mold from your body using glutathione, oregano P3 oil, cinnamon, cilantro, these different things that help pull mold out of the body, right? While also reintroducing probiotics and prebiotics.
Smart.
So then the nighttime takes what was removed and helps you release it. Activated charcoal, zeolite, things that grab the mold and help you poop it out. But then at the same time, also helping you sleep better. Valerian root, a little melatonin, very small amount of melatonin. You shouldn't use more than like 500 micrograms. Everybody overdoses. Like you can't find a pill at Target with less than like 2.5, which is just stupid. Like nobody needs that much. You're messing with your hormones at that point. So like taking just a small amount of melatonin, a bunch of other really great ingredients, reishi, lion's mane, chaga, like all these different things to help restore adrenal glands too. So the whole idea is to get you off shitty coffee that has toxins and molds that's frying your adrenal glands because you're drinking 3 to 5 glasses of it a day, and switch to 1 cup with the reset and be able to keep drinking our coffee going forward.
Done. This is my new travel companion. This is it.
Yeah, man. See this?
This company,
Yep. This is it.
I'm going to put it out, the frequency out there. This company is going to sell for a lot of money.
Yes.
I'm just saying, I can feel it. There's certain founders with certain stories, with certain brands that it just all comes together. It's a very unique formula. You have it. It's very impressive. Do you want to do a code for our audience?
Totally.
Can we do code skinny?
Code skinny it is.
Shop Coffee Company.
What do you want to give them off? Like 20%? What do you want to do?
20% would be amazing.
Let's do 20%. Can you write that down, Pat? Thank you, buddy.
20% off strongcoffeecompany.com. And then where can everyone follow you on Instagram? Maybe we can do a giveaway too.
Yeah, I would love to do one. Strong Coffee Company is our Instagram handle.
What's yours if people want to go look at you? I feel like people are going to want to go look at you after this episode.
It's Von Rothfelder, my last name. VONROTH. F as in Frank. EL. D as in David. ER. Little
I feel like you've done this before. You know, we saw you on Joe Rogan.
well, they talked about us. Yeah. I wasn't on it, but I would love to be on Joe Rogan. That'd be amazing.
Joe, well, let's put it out into the ether.
Another big listener.
You know,
of ours.
I mean, honestly, like the fact that he's not drinking strong coffee is just silly.
You need strong coffee.
Yeah. I mean, who drinks regular coffee? It's moldy.
No, listen,
it's
I'm converted now. I'm done.
Yeah,
This is it. So,
and these are great. These are travel packs of the latte.
no, you
And-
know what I was thinking? We have to like periodically bounce around, and we're always getting this. I don't want to put the hotels on blast. We get this shitty hotel coffee, right? And I'm done with that now. So I'm gonna have this.
Well, and if you're ever traveling, we're in every Whole Foods in America. So you can always grab a travel pack, travel box.
And Sun Life.
And Whole Foods. And we're at Sun Life.
Don't
Which-
forget Sun Life.
Oh yeah, it's
Personally-
it's another 30 minutes since Khalil's been mentioned. So.
Personally, Sun Life is a great grab. It's so easy. It's right there on the shelf right next to the cash register.
Next time you come on, I would love to niche down and pick your brain on health and wellness and fitness, because it seems like you know a lot of that stuff too. We didn't even get to get into that.
Yeah, I would love to. I mean, that's certainly my passion.
When you come on with Donatella,
Yes. Yeah, let's do it.
you guys can wear your underwear and we'll interview you about your health and fitness.
It's so funny because I really am wearing the underwear she gave me. So it's just funny that we talk about it. It's just like, because they're kind of like this like good luck charm for me. I probably only wear them like once every couple of months. You know
Thank
what I mean?
you. Thank you for
we like
I
to
got
do-
my lucky underwear on.
Well, listen, it's like what we like to do is have the person like really get to know the background, but then I think the next time, like obviously you have an expertise in specific subjects, like niching down on that. That's what.
Let's do better. Let's get you guys in a training session with me once or twice. And we
Where
can
do you
kinda talk.
train?
So I actually train. I actually came out of retirement for Jasper Weir. He's the founder of Task Us.
Okay.
And he has a lot of lower back issues, and that just kind of piqued my interest as I like people who have issues that I can.
What about heartburn? Do you have any stretches for heartburn?
I mean, I wouldn't say stretches, but I would say definitely there's definitely some nutritional things that we could go over that would definitely get rid of heartburn.
Okay.
I would say stop drinking sparkling water would be a start.
Sparkling
She's
water,
taking down like
man.
3.
Yeah. Sparkling water is one of the worst things for heartburn. You're actually also depleting your body of oxygen because the carbon
Okay,
dioxide.
let me give up margaritas, weed mints. I give up walking up the stairs. I'll
You didn't
give up
give up
sparkling
walking
water.
Hookers.
Yeah, hookers. Next time you come on, we're gonna niche down on health and fitness and diet. Adam, you are so inspiring. Can we do a giveaway of all your favorites from
Yeah,
Strong
let's do
Company?
it. Yeah, let's do it all.
All you guys have to do is follow at Strong Coffee Company on Instagram and let me know your favorite part of this episode on my Instagram at Lauren Bostic. Adam, come back on anytime. Maybe you and Khalil can come on and we can just see
I would
you
just
guys
have to listen to him talk for an hour and a half.
fight over the mic. I don't know though. I don't know. I feel like you both are so open. It would be a pretty good episode.
It would be a great episode. And I always tell people with the Strong Coffee Company, you're only as strong as the ones you keep, right?
Ooh.
So that's why the company is so
Okay.
important for us.
You're pretty strong, Michael Bostic.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, Adam.
Thanks, Adam.
Pleasure. Appreciate
Thank you,
brother.
guys. Appreciate you.